Hi everybody, and welcome back to Sound Well Guitar. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about minor chords. Minor chords, the opposite of the major chords that we've been doing on the last two lessons. We talked about it on the first lesson doing chords when we did the G, the C, and the D7, that these first two chords actually have a much longer name to them. We just say G for short, but when somebody just says the letter name of a chord, it typically means that it is then a major chord. So we could call this G chord a G major chord, or this C chord a C major chord. The major at the end of it denotes a specific tonality, one of sort of a happier sound. There's a lot more emotion that can be conveyed in music than just being happy, and we're going to get into the most common duality in music, happy versus sad, or major versus minor. You guessed it, our new chords that we're going to do today are of the sad variety, minor. The first one that we're going to do today is called E minor, and it's actually pretty simple, and it's going to use all 6 strings, which is pretty cool to be able to play a chord using that many strings, but it still be fairly simple. Here's how it's done. We're going to put our second finger on the 2nd fret, 5th string, and then we're going to take our 3rd finger and put it right underneath that finger. They're both behind the same fret. 5th string, 4th string, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. Make sure that they're on their extreme tips. Once you have this formation in place, that's it. Strum all 6 strings starting from the big one all the way to the littlest one. And here's our chord. There it is, that minor tonality. It's got that mysterious sound to it, or sad, somber. Try to think of it as like if it were a movie and there was the good guy on screen, his theme music would be probably in the major key, where when the bad guy's on screen, the bad guy's theme music, more the somber. Or you could think of it as a wedding or a birthday party. That's the major key. Now to the minor, like a funeral, a death. Okay, so let's move on. What we want to do with this minor key now is get ourselves set up with a progression. Remember, the progression is when we link more than one chord together in a rhythm to sort of tell a story. And this is the way most songs would utilize chords. All right, our next chord is A minor. We're going to use that 2-3 shape again that we had on the E minor chord, but we're going to move the 2 to the 4th string and then the 3rd finger on the 3rd string. So there's that shape there. Now we've got one more finger to go. That's our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So there it is, 2, 3, 1. I've got my chord ready. I'm going to strum from the 5th string across. I'm not using the 6th string for this one. And that one is A minor. So we'll put those together. Start to really hear that somber tonality that these minor chords have. So there was E minor, A minor. The 3rd chord in our progression is going to be another one of those 7 chords. It's a B chord with the 7 after it, so that is, we call it B7. The B7 is going to pose a little more difficulty than the first 2 chords in today's lesson. It's what I've always referred to as a very claustrophobic kind of chord. But this is it right here. Imagine even in that close-up, it's hard to tell what my hand is doing. It sounds like this. Okay, so in the close-up shot here, I'm going to try to break this down as best I can so that you can get the visual on camera what's happening with my left hand. First off, we're going to be using the 5th to the 1st string. We won't be using the 6th string. We're going to take our 2nd finger, 1, 2, and we're going to put that on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Now our 1st finger goes on the next string, and that's in the 1st fret. Okay, so there's the lower portion. 2nd finger, 1st finger. That's 2nd fret, 1st fret. Okay, now you see what I did with my 3rd finger there? I just sort of squeezed it underneath these guys. Still, this one's behind the 2nd fret, just like the 2nd finger is, and that's on the 3rd string. Now you might kind of remember this shape from our last lesson, the D7. Remember that one? It looked like a little triangle pointing that way. Well, we got that same effect going on here, this 2-1-3. All right, last finger for this chord is going to be our 4th finger scrunched in, again behind the 2nd fret on the 1st string. So here we go again. I'm going to start it over. 2nd finger, 5th string. 1st finger, 4th string. That's 2nd fret, 1st fret. 3rd finger, 3rd string. That's the 2nd fret 2. Then the 4th finger on the littlest string behind the 2nd fret. Now this one will take a little bit of work just to get those on their tips and sound clear. There it is, B7. I'm going to put those together now in a rhythm. I just want to take a minute here to talk about transitioning from one chord to the next in rhythm, starting with the E minor. You've got your 2 and your 3 down. Now it's important to note that this 2-3 shape that we have in our E minor chord is the same combination that we have in A minor, and then we just add that finger. We can utilize this to our advantage when we transition. Bring your 2 and your 3 down as a team, then place your 1. Or if you're going back, same thing applies. Okay, the trick to transitioning from A minor to B7 is there isn't one. It's all about practice. There's a little bit of a strategy here. One advantage is our 3rd finger won't move. Let's move the 2 then to the 5th string, so that stayed in the same fret. That's a little easier. And then our 1st finger moves on to the 4th string there, and then our 4th finger scrunches underneath. Okay, like I said, there's not really a trick to this that's going to make it easier on you. It's just, that is just kind of awkward at first. I'll do that one more time. I'm on A minor, and I move my 2, keep my 3 down, and then I move my 1 and put my 4 down. Getting this 2-1-3-4 shape. Okay, going back to E minor after the B7 chord, a little easier. We're going to keep our 2 right where it is. We're going to move our 3 in and let go of fingers 1 and 4. There, kind of looks like I'm doing the devil horns thing. I'll do that one more time. Okay, I got my 2, 1, 3, 4 fingering down. I need to go back to the E minor. I'm going to keep my 2 right where it is. Pull my 3 up, let go, the other 2. So. And of course, we can always use the rhythm exercise we did on the previous lessons, where instead of strumming on all 4 beats in our 4/4 count, we could practice these more difficult chord progressions by strumming 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is, your new progression in a minor key this time. Remember to practice the old chords as well. Once you have them mastered, you'd want to continue to maintain that skill. Even as you continue to learn new chord progressions, still work on the old ones. We'll see you next time.